Hello, I wanted to speak to you all today on the theme of adapting and being adaptable. And actually, there's no argument to be had here. As students, you're really good at adapting. You adapted from primary school to secondary school, you adapt from one lesson to another, you adapt to changes in your timetable, you adapt to changes to the school day, you have to adapt to home circumstances, you have to adapt to you growing as people. You're changing all the time, you're discovering things about yourself and the people around you. So actually you are in a really advantageous position in terms of being readily adaptable and being able to adapt to different circumstances. And there is no argument that actually the circumstances that we are faced with now, just like this quote, are out of our control and we feel pretty unprepared for them. And our response to that is to adapt. And thinking about my own responses, it's things that I wouldn't have considered before, like using Microsoft Teams to have meetings with teachers, both John Willmott School and colleagues across the profession. It's about supporting students in a remote way in how to learn and contacting parents in different ways because we can't have face-to-face meetings. It's also about things with my own children, having to teach them at home and keeping them in contact with their relatives using things like Zoom and technologies we wouldn't have used otherwise. And I've used this quote a lot when I've spoken about education in terms of having to change to get different outcomes. And it came back to me because I was thinking about possible silver linings here. You know, are we going to move forward with new habits? And will we be any better off for those adaptations that we've had to make, not because we wanted to, but because we had to? And I think that is worth reflecting on. Now, I am not saying anything other than actually having to adapt and being adaptable at the moment is really unfamiliar. And with that comes a sense of insecurity because we're creatures of habit. We like habits, we like routine, and actually we've had to adapt and find ways of living around that. Likewise, it can be really stressful. I talk to you about cognitive load, and reducing cognitive load is about a reliance on the long-term memory and schemas of understanding and understanding how things work. And again, we can't rely on that anymore because how things work have changed for us. But we are discovering for ourselves new strengths, and strengths about how we can do things a little bit differently, how we can communicate perhaps effectively, things we value, different routines, different habits. And that's what I want you to think about in terms of how you're adapting, why you're adapting, and what you can take forward, what you're learning about yourself. Never before have you had to be so resilient and show so much initiative and communicate effectively than you are now. And that isn't to say we don't miss you. We miss you all terribly. And we are so looking forward to when we can all be together again. But until then, we're going to have to adapt to different ways of doing things. And I'm going to leave you now with a video which I think sums up exactly how we feel and exactly how much we're missing you. And I hope you like it.